It's May 8, 2013, and you're listening to another episode of Bites Over Bagel!
Disappearing, baby. We're all lovers, time again.
It's Chicago's favorite tech morning show.
Yes, it is.
With me in the studio, as always, is one Miss Heather Brown.
Hello, kids.
One Mr. Brett Mackey. And everyone's favorite nemesis, Dave Seidler.
No.
We got a great show for you guys today. On today's show,
Shawn Reigsecker, founder and CEO of Centro. Best place to work in Chicago past 3 years.
yeah, can you believe this? 3 years in a row? A three-peat.
Three-peat.
It's a great interview, so definitely stay tuned in. Also, we're changing our format for the Bagel Bite. Today, we're representing 4 startups. So because of all that, we've got a lot of show. So let's
Get on to it.
The title of today's episode is
Today's coffee is brought to you by Beau Trust Coffee Roasters. Check them out at beautrust.com.
It's now time for our new segment,
Dun, dun, dun.
Chicago.
Tech.
Start up!
Madness.
So, starting today, in the next 8 episodes, the 4 of us, are representing one startup each for the first round of brackets. Moves on to the second round. Winner of the second round gets a sweet prize pack, among other things, such as a featured interview on the show. Feeling good?
Feeling good.
Feeling great.
So let's get on to it. Brett, who are you representing week 1?
I have selected Moxie Jeans. MoxieJeans.com. It is, at its core, it's an upscale resale website for kids' clothes from newborn to size 8. Near and dear to me because I have 2 little whippersnappers. Kid number 2's butt's too big to fit in number 1's hand-me-down swimsuit. So, not only that, we're a little bit fashion and quality conscious, so we're occasionally dropping some bucks on these clothes that only get worn once or twice. So this is an opportunity to sell those clothes back, either get store credit to buy back some other cool clothes, or just or get cash, straight up cash. And also, whatever clothes I send in to sell and they don't want, they donate those to charity. So it's like a win-win-win-win-win all the way down the line, and it's super, super easy. They've made it as easy as like recycling a can. So like, all right, I want to sell some clothes. They send me a self-addressed stamp envelope. Drop my clothes in, out the door, get my cash, get some new clothes on my kids' back, bam. And you're out there, young techaroos, saying, I ain't got no kids. Don't be too short-sighted. You will find nerd love. One might get past the goalie. You might just want to buy your cool niece or nephew some quality threads at a discount price. And did I mention Sharon, the co-founder, is the chillest entrepreneur around?
Whoa, the crowd
She
goes wild.
is dropping knowledge on built-in. You need to keep her in this contest. You need to keep Moxie Jeans around. Vote Moxie Jeans.
I don't know how I followed that up. I do not know.
Dave, let's go! Week 1! Come on!
Dun, 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 dun.
Wow. Vinyl Me Please, as its website says, proudly built in Chicago. Vinyl Me Please is a subscription-based modeled company. They send you an actual vinyl album every month. They believe that enjoying music is more than just a download on your way to work. They actually promote the experience of listening to an album, looking at the album art, and they also send you a digital playlist curated down by their personal music consultants. On top of that, you get a cocktail pairing with every vinyl album they send you a month. It's $27 a month. You can do it month to month, every 3 months, or a year subscription. These guys are killing it. This is a great idea. I remember back in the 90s, BMG the CD delivery service.
Yes.
That got me into every alternative album I ever listened to, and probably the greatest thing ever. I don't know what happened to them.
Green Day. I remember Green Day being in there.
I think Nirvana. I first heard Nirvana from my friend's CD.
That's awesome.
Anyway, subscription-based model, great company, killing it here in Chicago. Everyone loves music. Great way to enjoy different tastes.
Feeling good. Nice job, Dave.
Woo!
Dave, where do people find out more about that?
Yeah, sure. VinylMePlease.com or at VinylMePlease on Twitter.
Okay.
Solid.
Heather.
All right,
H-bomb
people.
and the hizzy.
So Zealous Good. Hopefully everybody has heard about that. This is a pretty legit company. We all have a lot of shit, and we all love charities. Yes or no? And Brittany is CEO and founder. She is getting a forum where people who have a lot of stuff can match up with charities and donate their stuff. So they actually can post what they've got online, post pictures, and then they can actually find different charities and donate it to the charity that they think most deserves their stuff. So that's pretty legit.
Cool.
Yeah, and she was giving me some examples, and she said that they've donated everything from dog food, it was left over from a dog that passed away, and to stamps to kids that need to learn about the USPS. So that's pretty legit. Always somewhere from 100 computer monitors. Yes, the company has donated that, and that's pretty legit. So
awesome.
Anyway, Mashable called them one of the 25 technologies every smart city should have. So, and on that note, they're looking to expand starting 2014. So watch out, other cities. They're coming to you. So, yeah,
Brittany
legit.
is just a badass person in general. I mean,
Yeah, they're helping
Dave.
235 charities. Now that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is legit. So
Where can
Zealous Good, people. Zealous Good. Zealousgood.com is where you can find them. So vote for Zealous Good.
Ooh.
Sing it with me now. Zealous Good.
All right, to cap it off, let's talk about the winner real quick here of week one.
come on.
Zealous Good.
Osa's getting cocky.
So today I'm representing dabble.co. Dabble. If you have not heard of Dabble, it's probably because you're a single, antisocial male or female out there. Because Dabble is doing two things for two kinds of people. Number one, if you want to teach a class of any kind, you can apply at dabble.co and actually get a group together and teach a class. There's a minimum of, I think it's actually, the setup is $20 always, but minimum $20. You can include material fees. So let's say...
we want to take fencing.
Let's say you want to take fencing. You could do so. But I was thinking more like, if you're an instructor for, say, the drums, like the drums over here, I could give lessons. So
that's cool.
They help you set up the whole forum for doing it, like finding places. And basically, there's kind of like a tipping point. Once it reaches a certain minimum number of attendees, then the class is on. So that's the one thing. The other thing is that, you can learn all kinds of random things like fencing, nailing your elevator pitch, creative writing,
sewing,
how to, cocktails. Pretty much anything you can think of is in the system because there's all these people coming out of the woodwork to teach new skills. So if you want new skills in your life, you've got to go to dabble.co. And if you want to teach your skills like Don Bora, you've got to sign up to do classes. And Dabble is taking over the nation right now. They started in Chicago on WordPress, and now they're blowing out the whole West Coast and the Midwest, and it's a bloodbath of awesome. I should also mention the co-founders, Jess and Aaron, are pretty awesome people. That's helpful as well.
This is true. This is true.
And so that it is. Vote for
Zealous
Dabble.
Good.
Moxie Jeans.
Let's also tell the listeners how they can vote, John.
In round one, you're going to have 8 weeks to accumulate votes, okay? So there's a hashtag, Chicago Tech Startup Madness is the hashtag.
One more time. Say it again.
Hashtag Chicago Tech Startup Madness. We know that's a long one, but
we know you can do it.
You need to put the @ symbol and the company you want to vote for before that.
So that's it, everybody. Good luck in your voting, and
get them in.
Zealous Good.
Next week, we will have 4 more startups to tell you about.
Today's bagels are brought to you by NYC Bagel, Deli, and Catering. Get on over there and get some kettle-baked goodness today.
Yeah, you want it.
Today's featured interview is with Shawn Reigsecker. He's the founder and CEO of a little shop in town called Centro. Thanks for coming to the show.
Good morning.
Yeah, totally. Nice.
Yeah, he's awake. He's awake.
So why don't we get started by, could you just tell us a little about what Centro is and what you guys have been doing over there?
Yeah, so it's a software company. We work in the media industry, and our whole mission is to automate the relationship between a buyer of advertising and a seller of advertising. And been around for a little over 10 years. We've got around 325 peeps, about 31 offices across the country, servicing a lot of the marketing that's going on today. And we just launched, we've got a service business, but we've also got a software business that we just launched in May. So it's a lot of fun and continuing to grow as fast as we can.
All right, well, tell us about your background and how did you actually start Centro and come up with this awesome idea?
Let's see here. So let's see my quick background. Ohio, born and raised, Bowling Green, worked in newspaper print advertising in the early 90s and saw the web, thought it was going to revolutionize the media industry. And a little bit, you had that concept years ago.
Yeah.
And so in 95 and 96, started putting newspapers on the web. Started with the Akron Beacon Journal, then the Cleveland Plain Dealer. And from there, actually went to, we started a streaming media company helping newspapers get into the radio business, very much like Pandora. And I learned a big lesson there that was that if you don't time the market properly, it doesn't matter how great of an idea you have, you'll still fail and lose a lot of money. And we did. And it's kind of funny because we had the same idea that Pandora had, but we just were too early to the game. Our bandwidth bill cost us $500,000 a month back then, what we could buy for about $5,000 today. And from there, moved to Chicago, worked for a company called Real Media, which was one of the first ad technology companies. And through that whole experience, I just looked at this whole industry and said, this is the most archaically and inefficiently run industry. It's so screwed up. We're never going to be able to scale. Digital is only going to create more complexity. And so I quit my job in October of 2001 and said, let me start a company and build software that can actually automate the entire transaction from front to end. And, 10 years and a few $1 million later, we're on our way.
Just like that.
Everything always takes you longer than you think it's going to. But then, things like recessions take place, which suck.
When did you officially realize that you had traction? Like this was going to be a great thing?
So for us, it was, I bootstrapped it from 01 to 04. In 05, I raised $1.8 million in angel capital from about 20 different people. And because I looked at 04 and 05 and I said, okay, now's the time to go big. So from that moment, we went from, I'll call it top line revenue. We went from $5 million in revenue in 2005 to $25 million in 2006 to $69 million in 2007. So those were that huge hockey stick. And then, 2008 gets here and it's a completely different story.
I was say, so the recession was really hard, but you had a really rough start in the beginning too. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So, so I started the company. I was in the server room. I literally was sitting with a little crappy office in the server room of another company. That was my first office. Had my, my pillow and my, blanket, and I slept on the floor.
50 degrees because the server's had to be cold.
Exactly. It was like I literally slept on the floor at least 25, if not 30 times the first year. Probably over the course of the first few years, probably upwards of 75, close to 100 times. So, getting through those first few years was hard. And I was doing everything. I didn't have an employee for the first year, so I was I was selling, I was paying the bills, I was doing the media plans, I was creating the systems, I was doing the marketing, and you just gut it out. I ran out of cash. I had about 3 months worth of cash. Ran out of cash. At that point, you're 2 months behind on rent. I can't afford plane tickets to go see clients. So I remember, how I would travel is I would get in my car at midnight. I would drive to Detroit or to Minneapolis, which was the other place I had clients. I would I would get there at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, have breakfast, work all day, and then I'd drive back and sleep on the road if I wanted to at night because I just couldn't afford a plane or a hotel. Wow. I at one point I was up to almost $60,000 in unsecured credit card or personal loans, all over 18% interest, and most of it was at 27% interest.
Oh my God,
that's awesome.
So if I screw it all up, my life is going to be tough to pull out of that one for a long time.
So is there anyone in your company that has been with you since the beginning through all that?
Oh yeah. In fact, employee number 2 and employee number 3 are on my executive team, and they've been there for, let's see, Emily's been there now. Emily's been there for 8 years, 8 or 9 years. Katie's been there for 7 or 8 years, something I can't remember. It's one of those two. And we actually, it's really fun because we've got a thing at Centro called a sabbatical, that after 4 years of service, in your 5th year, you get 3 weeks of paid vacation all at once. You have to take it in addition to your 4 weeks, and you got to take it off. And Emily's, and then after your first round, then it's every 3rd year you get another sabbatical. Yeah, it's actually cool to hear the stories that people do of what they all decide to spend their time doing. A lot of people travel the world. A lot of people, and a lot of it is people spend time with their family or their parents, and it's beautiful.
So that's a good segue into, you've been rated the #1 company in Chicago for the past 3 years. How in the world did you get to that point? Or how do you feel you got there?
First of all, it's shocking. But when I started the company, now I don't know about you guys, but my experience in working for other companies was that it was a pretty bad experience. I believe that when we all start a job, we all go, God, I want to be great, and I want to do awesome work, and I want to love my company, I want to be proud of what I do, and I like the people I work with, and usually in most companies, in like 6 to 9 months, they've beat or ground that out of you, and next thing you know, you're taking smoke breaks with your friends, and you're complaining about it, you're going to the bar after work, and you're bitching. Now I'm thinking, that's a pretty bad place to be. And I'm going, now if I'm going to build a company, now I probably fail, but in the small chance that I succeed, I don't want that. That's right. I knew I didn't want that. I didn't want that to be the story. So I'm like, well, what would a company look like if it wasn't that? And so, I spent a lot of time meditating, and I meditate a lot on what it stands for and what a company could be. And I just walked away with just this simplistic idea that a company, first of all, it can and should exist to do something more than make profit and return value to shareholders. That's number one. Then number 2, I said we spend more time at the office and more time with our coworkers than anyone else in our life. Why can't it be a place that helps people become happier in their life? Why can't, if someone works for my company, that they don't go home and be a better father, better mother, better son, better daughter, better boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever? And so I was like, all right, well, okay, let's do happiness. Then I was like, okay, well, when are people happy? Then I was like, well, when you are learning in your life and you're growing. That, to me, at least I feel a lot happy. And second is when you're giving back to another person who needs your help. So I was like, all right, well, let's just take that and create that as our basis. So I wrote a document called the Corporate Manifesto. It's on our website. And it details that our 2 principles are that lasting success in a business can only be achieved through the growth or the dedication of the growth and the well-being of an individual in your company. And the second is every person's responsible for their own improvement, the improvement of those around them, and the improvement of the company. That's it. And then there were 4 core values that I felt were just so critical to us, which was integrity, self-improvement, humility, and idealism. And I just need people to believe. And so everything we've done is wrapped up in that document. And I'll kind of end it with this, which is, it's one thing to put up values and say you have values, but a value doesn't become a value unless it costs you money. Other than that, it's just words on a document. And there are so many times when our values are tested, and it's going to cost the money to invest in the person. And every single time, we always choose the individual. And that, I think, is built this bond and this strength. People are loyal. They know that I believe in them. They know we invest in them. And I think that's created this culture of happiness. And then you end up with a Crane's best place to work first year, and then 2 years later. And, I think I'm never going to apply again because I think just, I can only go down.
Yeah, go out on top.
Back-to-back banner years. Yeah.
Three-peat.
Yeah, it's a Chicago thing. It's a Chicago 3-peat. I'm like, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Well, take a year off, then go back for the other 3-peat like Jordan.
That's right. What do you feel is wrong with digital advertising right now? And sort of how are you guys going about fixing it?
So what's wrong with advertising? Pretty much, I don't know where to begin, and I could spend the next hour discussing it. But first of all, I think advertising sucks today, and I think it's at a very creative low point. I think especially, and I'm going to talk about online advertising, okay? If we all four got together right now and said, hey, you know what, why don't we come up with a really bad way to advertise? We would probably create squares and rectangles and shove them in front of people's faces on the web. And we would choose, if we said, hey, how do you want to engage with our potential consumers? You'd probably come up with the idea of a third-party cookie, that's blind, that you don't know anything about. That's what you'd come up with. And that's exactly what we have. So I think the digital media industry could not be farther from an imaginative and a creative industry as it is today. When we are successful with our mission, which means automating all the crap processes, because the reason a lot of that happens is because the workflow is too hard to do really cool shit. People are like, well, I can't do really cool creative because it's too difficult to pull off. Mm-hmm. So if we actually, 70%, by the way, is the number. 70% of the work done in our industry is people pretty much moving data around, spreadsheets back and forth, communicating through archaic software. If we can fix that, I believe it'll open up a much more imaginative, creative, and collaborative environment in which buyers and strategists can come up with great ideas and publishers can actually execute them. So I think advertising sucks, but I think that hopefully we can help it in a small way across the whole industry.
No one knows how to advertise on mobile, do you?
I actually question whether or not advertising should be on mobile.
So we all wish it wasn't.
Well, it's just, my whole thing is if I am an agent to the brand and I'm supposed to help them do the best that they possibly can, I'm not convinced that a small little rectangle on a smaller screen is a great experience.
Right.
So maybe that's not a great place for you to be. Second, what I do believe is going to be valuable, and our management team just spent a half day with Twitter's management team in San Francisco last Wednesday. And I am really, really impressed with what Twitter's doing. I'm impressed with Dick Costello, Chicago guy, great leadership over there. They've held off on pleasing investors in order to get the product right. They're going to start introducing a lot more advertising into Twitter, but I think that they've done as great a job as they can to make sure that it feels right. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be a small ad in front of your face. It's not going to be intrusive. It's going to feel really well. So that, to me, will become mobile, because I think, we do so much Twittering and social networking on our phones.
Mm-hmm. So now for the most important question of the interview, believe it or not. What is your favorite bagel, and how do you like it prepared?
My favorite bagel is multi-grain, and I prepare it toasted with faux butter. Does that make sense? Because I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't have butter.
Oh, vegan butter?
It's kind of like that. You can't believe it's not butter. That's what it's called.
Got it.
All right.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. We all know it.
A butter substitute, very good.
Any specific place
No.
you enjoy?
No. I love New York City bagel.
Ooh, good pitch.
Great pitch.
But there's none around me, though, so I don't actually get there.
Right over here. They sponsor our show.
I know you guys are actually close to one. It's right up the street in Kingsbury, isn't it?
Yeah, and we got some right over there if you want
Oh,
one.
fantastic.
Yeah, we'll send you home with a bunch of... We don't have any faux butter, though.
So, Shawn, where can people learn more about Centro and potentially yourself?
I have a profile on sittercity.com.
Is that true?
No. Wait, true story, though?
If you're a babysitter, that would be amazing.
Wait, I was actually on a panel with Genevieve, who started it, and she does her intro, and someone comes to me and says, I just want to let everyone in the audience know that I actually attempted to use Sitter City as a dating website.
Oh.
And got kicked off. So
No
I tried to plug. That is not true. I did not use it as a dating website.
Good. That's pretty good.
So Centro, you can find more about us at centro.net, and that's everything. It's all there.
What happened to the .com?
So Centro.com is actually owned by this huge worldwide global Australian Properties Group, and they owned it, and I couldn't buy it from them because they were worth billions, and I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, Shawn, thanks again for coming in and talking with us. It was really great learning about you and Centro, and best of luck to your future and building the crap out of that company, damn it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I saw you one time. Oh, your dark.
Filling in the gaps today is
Penthouse Suites. Check them out at penthousesuites.com or bitesoverbagels.com.
And that concludes episode 12 of Bites Over Bagels! Tune in next week to hear
Phil Tadros, founder and CEO of Dojo, and many, 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 many more things.
he is a beast.
Machine.
Fabulous interview. Stick around, folks.
Check us out on the Facebooks, the Twitters. You can subscribe in the newsletter. You can subscribe on iTunes. And finally, folks, if you already forgot, we need you to vote on these startups. There are 4.
We got Moxie Jeans,
Moxie Jeans
Zealous Good,
Vinyl Me Please.
and Dabble.
So please, @mention them, followed by hashtag Chicago Tech Startup Madness today.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
we'll see you next